Good morning and welcome to my channel. This is a podcast where I enjoy sharing my insights. And I hope you enjoy hearing my insights. So I think I'm going to start doing more of these in the morning when I wake up because they're fresh on my mind and I'm the most excited about those insights with a cup of coffee. So today I'm talking about something that has helped me a lot, and that is, if you have a problem, you are a problem. And you may have heard that thoughts are not you, or thoughts create reality, and I just don't see it. I don't see how a thought can create anything. So stick around and I'll try to unpack this for you, that if you have a problem, you are a problem. So stick around. It's time to abandon the thought that a thought creates reality. That's like saying a wooden cross, a rosary bead, a Buddha statue, a figurine on your dashboard creates safety. In the same way that a full bank account creates freedom, or a job creates security. Those are graven images. So if you've ever been told that thought creates reality, you've been told that a plastic figurine is keeping you safe. Something outside of yourself is what safety is. So you see, when you get into what safety is, for example, within its own domain, safety is safety. And within its own domain, thinking is thinking and a thought is thought. There's nothing harmful, there's nothing powerful about a thought, in the same way that there is nothing powerful about an image in a stained glass window. And there's nothing powerful about a piece of bread that you eat when you go to communion. Because I eat bread here, and it's the same bread that they serve in church. So there's no transubstantiation or any kind of power in an object like that. You see? So if your thoughts are creating reality, then there is a plastic figure running the universe. So how do we apply this weird logic to problems? Well, problems are graven images too. So when you have a problem, think of it more intimately. When you have a problem, you are a problem. Manifestation is not about adding anything to yourself. You can't add or subtract from perfection, which is what essentially the universe is. And if you are the universe, you are essentially perfect, whole, free, because you can't enslave yourself. You can't imprison yourself unless you believe your thoughts have power. You see, if your thoughts have power, then you have created a prison with no prisoner. That's all it is. So you want to think of it more intimately like that. If I have a problem, then I am a problem. If I have a thought, then I am the thought. You may have been told, well, you're not your thoughts, but I disagree with anybody who says you're not your thoughts. You're everything. So you are those graven images, believe it or not. But you are not contained within them, because essentially you are pure love, pure perfection. And how can you carry love and perfection around in a vessel? This is the whole idea of the Ark of the Covenant. It was as if they believed they were carrying God around in a box, right? And that's what a problem is. It boxes you in, but you cannot box yourself in. There's no prisoner in that box. You're a ghost, if you want to put it in those terms. Let's put it this way. If you want to get really clear about reality, the best way to perhaps describe it is, I am a silent ghost. But even that will conjure up an image of Casper slithering around a haunted house. You see, it's very difficult to talk about I am from the perspective of I am everything. Because we have to know I am not, and I am some, and I am little, and I am big. So we have to understand how to transcend the dualistic nature of the linear mind. Now, if you have a problem, you are that problem. You are what you eat. You are what you think. You are what you do. How is that possible? I believe the universe is a verb more than it is a noun. It is more verb than noun. Noun is a person, place, or thing, or an object. But we know that, and here's the loophole around this, that so-called solid matter is really energy slowed down. So you as matter and you as energy are one. Which one's slower? Me as matter. I'm slower than me as energy. So I'm slow on the uptake. So what I see as reality is the past. It makes what I am seeing as object in this particular room, if I could turn the camera around, I'm in my study. These objects are I am seeing them in their past state. Like when you look up at, if you see the sun, don't look at the sun, but if you do, you're seeing it 8 minutes ago. So you're looking into the past. No matter how close something is, it's already done. So that which precedes that which goes before you, and that which is slow on the uptake, the physical part of you, and the conscious mind is part of the physical world. So the conscious mind is physical. This is the part of you that thinks linearly, and then it produces a thought. So it's already really old and stale, and it has no power over you. It's just that we haven't figured out that there's a bigger part of us that's bigger than our thoughts. But where the whole is, where the partial is, the whole is always present. You are never without your wholeness. And a thought is a partiality, which does contain the essence of the wholeness, but it doesn't contain the power of the wholeness, you see. So, lift up your problems might be a way of saying lift up yourself. You got to look at what seems to be ailing you. And we often look out there. But there's nothing out there. That's the good news. You're creating your own problems by creating a box or a definition, and you cannot be defined by your problems. One of the things that helps me, it's one of my favorite teachers is Eric Butterworth. I think I have listened to every single message. He was part of the unity movement, or the truth movement. And there are speeches of his on the internet. I think I owe my spiritual freedom to Eric Butterworth, Eckhart Tolle, Michael Singer, Norman Vincent Peale, Robert Schuller. Some of these people are Christian. Krishnamurti, that's his name. He is amazing. So I've spent countless hours just absorbing this stuff. And it takes a while to understand that what they are all talking about is the same. What everybody is talking about is the same. But a word will not point you Because words are graven images too. Words will not point you to the truth. You have to become the truth. You see? That's where this kind of all fits together. And Eric Butterworth pointed me to a truth that I just come back to. The he that is within, this is from 1 John, the he that is within is greater than the he that is within the world. So you've got the he within, this I am, this very deep, open, invisible, unseen, impersonal presence. You might think of it as an impersonal presence. A blind, silent, bright presence. That is the primacy of all things, the origination of all things and non-things and seen and unseen. If you back up to the point of origin, you realize you've always been here. So whatever comes from that always is doesn't have a power over that which you are, always were, and always will be. In other words, there's nothing more powerful than being. There is no singular being, including a thought, more powerful than being itself. And to explore being itself, you can't speak over it. Anything spoken over it is the he that is within the world, not the he that is within, you see. So that's the fundamental, the primary, out of which a problem seems to emerge. And that's sort of what we are. We are the image of the universe, animated by a presence that's everywhere, even in so-called impersonal objects. So we have an impersonal nature, a non-extant nature. So your thoughts are images, you see, graven images of that which is projecting into the world. So you're projecting yourself into the world when you think, but you can't do anything about it. You can't control what pops into your head, can you? The main thing that we're trying to do, what we are understanding about ourselves, is that relax. You're untouchable. Relax. You are invisible. Relax. You are energy. Relax. You are greater than the things you are creating out of your mind. You are greater than your mind. And consciousness has a shape. And much like the eyeball. If you think about the eyeball and it closes, it opens, and so I need to see you on my computer, so hold on a second. So if you see in your periphery, I'm looking here at you, as if you were watching me, and then I bring my finger back here, I can't see about right there if I'm looking at my peripheral vision. But yet, if I close my eyes, I can sense an presence. I can sense something behind my head. So consciousness does this. Consciousness is like the eyeball in many ways. It's a selection system. You are seeing through a small segment of reality. That's one way to look at it. But the totality of reality is hidden from a consciousness that seems to be partially closed. And so spiritual awakening is just the absolute dilation of consciousness from relaxation and peace. The consciousness is relaxing or unfolding, much like a rose. So the shape of your consciousness, most people kind of have maybe they're a little sleepy. They haven't really awakened to the presence that is everywhere, and you realize you're not in the body. You can't be carried around in a vessel. There are no problems because there's no problemer. You see? There's no one in there creating the prison. So your life is a game of jumping in and out of a prison. So in other words, you can't out-problem yourself. You can't outlive yourself. You can't outsmart yourself. You can't outwit yourself. You see? And when I say you can't outwit yourself, it sounds like you've got two, but you got one who's slow on the uptake. That's my form. My conscious mind is slow to that subconscious or superconscious or that which goes before me. My primacy, my unmanifested, my formless. Whatever you see as a problem is an image. Whatever you see as an obstacle is an image. What do they call those things in the desert? A mirage. But you are the magi. I really believe in what Neville Goddard says, that you are the imagination. It's a wonderful way to think of yourself, the imagination. What the hell would that look like? What does the imagination look like? Well, the minute you draw a picture of it, you have created a graven image. He says the imagination is God. I kind of happen to agree. That's a wonderful way to see yourself impersonally, as not an imagined being, but imagination itself. And what you project on that imagination is you. It's like projecting yourself onto a mirror, right? Yet we don't have control over what's projected. You don't have control over what you want, what you're dreaming about, what your goals are, as if. It's like saying you have control over the kind of people you like, the kind of food you like. You don't have control over anything. So this is the acquiescence of control too, part of it. You can notice a thought and say, well, that's really interesting. That graven image is really interesting, but it does not frighten me. And the thing that heals you is silence and leaving it alone. Stop picking at it. You might think of a thought as a kind of sickness, a symptom. A human being does what the universe does. So the universe is universing. That's what the universe is doing. What is the universe doing? It's universing. So this creature that looks like an individual speaking to you on a microphone is Ryan is ryanning. And so your thoughts are like apples on an apple tree. That's what people do. They apple. They think. But do those apples have power over the apple tree? No. That's a great way to think of it. The apple tree is securely in the ground, rooted, doing its thing, appling. So you're doing your thing, thinking. When you're thinking, you're appling. You're thinking. You're being yourself. So those problems are you see? But we have the awareness to know that thoughts are popping up like roses and weeds, and some of them are nice. Your dreams are popping up like weeds and those sorts of things. But I think the things that we want in our life, the real heartfelt, innocent desires, are unavoidable. They're inevitable. And what is really interesting about wanting, this is a kind of a different topic, but how can you want what you already have? How can you want what you already have? It's amazing. That stops me in my tracks because I realize I have it all. Because I am it all, you see? Whatever you're projecting as a want, that's you. I don't care if you want a house, $1 million, a new career, a partner, that's you. How can you want what you are? You can't add to it. When you come to that double bind, you're like, holy shit, I'm all of that. What the hell do I want? And the same thing works in the negation. Why do you want to clear a problem? You got to listen to that song. How do you solve a problem like Maria? Maria is not a problem. How do I solve a problem like Ryan Hebert? Well, if I thought Ryan Hebert were a problem, I'd simply be seeking myself, or seeking to clear myself, depending upon how I see it. I hope you enjoyed these insights today. I certainly enjoyed sharing them with you, as you can see. I hope you'll join me in waking up early and getting ourselves motivated by the insight that we receive every day. I'll be grateful for it. Check out my blog. If you like my videos, I write a 300-word essay every single day, and I never seem to run out, which is wonderful. Check it out, mymorningmotivator.com. Thank you.